for me actually, because family and comes over, or and this is a time when I think people have wanted to be together, but you can't afford to have very large groups together either. So family has generally been around, or very very close friends who we know are playing safe, and um so Saturday evenings have been very difficult for me to join you guys. But otherwise, the topics have been very, I've been very curious about it, and always wanted to go back and see the recordings, and you know how it is.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
it doesn't happen really. So I decided today I have to just be part of this and experience it, and hear the wisdom. And the topic was very interesting to me. I do like to indulge in a little bit of creative writing and stuff, but more by way of just posting reflections and stuff like that, not really related to my profession as such.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
That's about it. And
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's always good to understand a little bit of what the person is doing to understand and where you come from. So when you give your opinions and when you talk about your experiences, we have that little bit of context. And as far as the context goes, so obviously I'll introduce the topic like I do every time. But me and Colleen got talking last time, and as much as we absolutely love going on stages, this time we are going to be a little bit more strict with time and say absolutely 45 minutes. And let's try to be succinct. Let's try, because we have wonderful ideas, we have wonderful experiences, but let us absolutely try our best to put those in words that make the most impact. That is a succinct form of communication. That is the most powerful form of communication, that you say less but it means more. So absolutely, when we are all sharing our experiences, don't hold back, but try to share in a more succinct way, in a way that energizes, leaves more impact. And there are two sort of reasons for it. One, obviously, time, but the second one is we all are here to learn. We all want to become better every day. So I think this will really drive the group's commitment towards becoming better every day. So let's try and do that absolutely, and learn from each other here. As far as the topic goes, so the topic is how to brand yourself or personal branding when you are a psychologist. And I'll give a little bit of context of how this idea came into being, or why this topic came into being. So when I moved to the UK, and I realized, oh my God, there's so much you can do with a psychology degree. It's not as simple as clinical counseling and HR. There are different titles, different designations, different things you can do with it. And I started attending a lot of networking sessions. And to my surprise, wherever you go in the world, not just India, a psychology degree is not the easiest degree to sell. You have to sell yourself. You have to tell people what you can do for them. It's not as clear as day. It's not always like, oh, of course you're a doctor, so you look after our general well-being. In the organization, you have to tell them, look, employees have a heart, they have a mind, and this is what I'm here to do, and this is how I'll help them. And then you have to tell them what the output will be. You'll have to tell them what it will look like. So I started attending a lot of sessions on how to brand and market yourself as a psychologist, and that is so so important for us. We have to sell ourselves every day and tell people why our work is important, because frankly sometimes our work is not tangible. You can't see it. You're not a personal stylist that they will change the way they dress. They just change the way they think and nobody can see it. So I think it was very important to learn from each other. How have we done that? Of course, we have all done that. We have been in organizations, we have talked to clients. And if we are not a psychologist, we are a psychology enthusiast. So how have we sold that to people, if we ever have? Or how have we seen other people do it? If you're not a psychologist and you're here today, then obviously some psychologist has touched your heart, touched your mind, or you have liked them. How have they done it? So I think talking a little bit about that, sharing some of the almost hints and tips of branding yourself as a psychologist, let's call it that. And I suppose that will be useful. So without taking too much time of me ranting, we can sort of have our first sips and get into it really. Yeah, good stuff. Gulin, why don't you start us off? I love picking on you anyway.
I'm just looking at Harsh's t-shirt and I think, okay, cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
So
Cheers.
yeah, so
Yeah,
Sakshi, I was looking at Harsh's t-shirt and it says minimal. So I think minimalism is the key. Uh, do less, but do it well. I think that's the starting point, and if anybody wants to take it ahead, feel free to do so.
Before anybody sort of takes it, Gurleen, is that your MVP? Is that sort of what you put in as your USP, that I'll do less, but it'll create more impact?
One of the things, because I think personal branding, like even in the title, you have personal. So I think it all boils down to self-awareness, your own values, your USP, like you said. So for me, I think I'll do less, I'll do niche work, but I'll do it with the best of my ability.
Hmm.
So I think for me, minimalism is the key. Um, Not overcrowding my solutions, but find out what I am really, really good at, what I'm really passionate about, and leveraging my strengths instead of focusing on other areas is, is something that I personally do.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Got it.
just to add to this, I think we all remember the image of Ganesha, where his face is depicted and every point, feature is defined. Coming on to that is like we have 2 ears and one mouth. So we should hear more and speak less, but we do exactly the opposite. So that's the main problem in this world. So listening for me is very, very important. I mean, I can be the designated listener in any group because that's once you listen and once you observe, that's where you get to understand people, where they're coming from, why, if they're speaking in a certain way or they're putting across a point. So, what is the where they're coming from? That's more important instead of what they're talking about, just the words per se. So, for me, like Gurleen said and Harshvardhan's minimal, yes, do something, do a few things, but like Gurleen again said, to the best of your ability. That's the only way of branding yourself. And personal branding, the biggest thing I feel is the biggest, say, a hurdle to that is understanding yourself. Personal branding starts from yourself. So first you need to understand yourself and then project it.
I think, Chirag, what you're saying is obviously very interesting, and you've put in like the perspective of knowing yourself before you can brand it. But how do you use that listening that you were talking about to sell that to organizations? So if you're having a meeting with a stakeholder,
Mhm.
how do you talk to them about the fact that I listen and that will help you? How do you put that across?
Okay. Mm, See, probably I'll just give you an example. This is something around, say, 8 years back. We were in a meeting with a client and we were discussing training, and one of the topics was personal, it was, uh, it's not personal branding per se, but it was, say, specialization onto your field as such. And because at that particular point of time, I was totally involved in that particular project and I was doing the content part of that. So I knew very well what, while we were seeing is, so what is my USP? Now, this, I'll just give you a bit of a background. This training was supposed to happen for LG. Uh, and it is, if you remember, they have a set of people called SSE, which is Store Sales Executive, where those are outsourced guy who are present at the store to help you out in making whatever choices you want to make. So it was, what is their USP? When one is the product USP that you want to communicate to the customer. Other is what is your USP? How do you communicate that? So we were working on what is your USP instead of what is the company's USP or the product's USP. So I was very, since I was listening to their conversation, I was able to communicate it to them that these are two different elements we are talking about. It's not one and the same thing.
Mm.
And they got, when I completed it, they were very happy that, okay, we are talking about two things here. So obviously companies USP is important, but then how does a person, an individual SSC, uses his own USP to sell that USP? So
Amazing.
that got, and my immediate boss at that time, while we were returning, he said, I mean, you caught, I mean, you hit the nail on the right track at that point of time, because that probably saved that meeting. So just to give you an example, like you're saying,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
that was one very pertinent example. But otherwise, see, listening per se, and when you're concentrating, listening properly, because see, I always use listening, listen, the word listen and silent. These are, you just interchange the letters, alphabets, and both have the same alphabets. To listen, you have to be silent. So your brain has to be silent. That's the most important part. It should not be, okay, he or she is saying something, so this will be my report or whatever. So that has to be silent so that you understand what the other person is saying,
Yeah.
understand, go deeply, and then you respond to it.
Yeah.
Take a time, and while responding, see, what happens is during WhatsApp chatting you do. Now Google plays havoc sometimes. You're typing something and the message that goes is something else because you have not rechecked it. So
Hmm.
I say, while responding, no one says that you have to be, it's not a split second decision that the next second the reply has to be there. So just take your time, think about it a bit, and then reply.
Yeah.
So, first of all, your reply would be much more, let's say, qualified. And supposing you get angry for as a response to whatever someone has said, if you think about it, you can control your anger and then respond. Otherwise, I mean, that particular response can probably ruin the relationship or something. So, listening per se is,
Yeah.
I mean, for me at least, that
Yeah.
has been something.
And I'll bring the conversation a little bit back before we jump into a full discussion on listening skills. But I think Chirag, you made some excellent points there. That absolutely you show the fact that what's your USP in a meeting, in a situation, play back what the stakeholder has asked you, and that almost shows that you are listening and you're improving communication instantly rather than leaving it as something that is a much longer term goal. And I think that is very interesting,
Sakshi,
Chirag.
just a minute.
Who else?
Sakshi, just a minute. My maybe screen says Chirag because I'm using my son's laptop. I'm Shalab Agarwal. Okay,
Shalab.
Shalab. Yeah, I'm Shalab.
Sorry, so sorry. I think I should
No, no,
start.
no. I because I explained this to Gurleen, and I mean, since you came in just a bit uh, after that, so I said maybe let me
There you
correct
go.
my.
Thank you for sort of flagging that. Or I would have just remembered your name is Chirag then. Fab stuff. Who else has sort of nailed down that one USP then? That we almost always, yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So,
Anything.
so I look at personal branding from a different perspective. So while I was hearing Gurleen and Shalab, I'm in agreement with most of the points both of them mentioned. But how, how I look at personal branding is like it's become a necessity in the current times, and I think, in my humble opinion, personal branding is a result of the year 2020, because like if you see, like before COVID, personal branding was not given so much of importance as, in today's times because of the pandemic. Because what has happened is now people have lost jobs, and I mean, pandemic has caused a havoc actually in the whole world. So I feel that now people want to build their brand because and I think the reason behind building a personal brand is that every individual has a purpose. So since now everything has gone digital, so if, like, for example, someone has a purpose of getting a job, or someone wants to like start his or her own his or her own startup, and wants to reach out to prospective clients. So digital medium is becoming one of the reasons, or I would say one of the important facades as to why personal branding has become very important. Because in today's era, if there's no branding, if you're not able to brand yourself, then I feel it's quite difficult to survive. Also, I feel that it's very important for you as an individual to be authentic. So for me, how I see as my personal brand is authenticity. You don't have to be necessarily driven by someone else. So just to give you an example, so as all of us are connected on LinkedIn, so when we see a lot of posts and stuff on LinkedIn, so, and there are different types of posts. Some are quite motivational, some are they're not that good, and I mean different types of posts. So, and we often get driven by the numbers game. We often get driven by the numbers game. So as a result, we see, अरे मेरे post पे कम, like I wrote so well, I wrote so different. उसके post पे he got double the number of likes. So that is what is happening. That authenticity is the key. And I think what is important in a personal in developing a personal brand is always play to your strength. Like, don't get driven by so much by numbers, because in that process what happens is you tend to lose yourself. So, like, for example, I can talk about myself. Like, whatever I write on LinkedIn, whatever post, whatever comes naturally to me, I just go by it, rather than developing or just creating something which is just not me. Even though you know the the number of engagements on my post is not very high compared to if someone writes certain thing, maybe he'll get like 100 or something. uh, but I think one shouldn't be bothered about so much about the numbers game, because at the end of the day, in the long run, you know authenticity does matter, and how creatively you express yourself in the process of developing your brand. Because essentially, uh, you know what is happening is, I think somehow or the other, all of us are trying to say the same things, but what makes us different individuals is the way we express. And someone said once that अंदाज़े बयां ही रंग बदल देता है बातों का, यूं तो दुनिया में कोई नई बात नहीं. So that's how I'd like to put it across.
Interesting.
Nice.
I know Juhi has something to say, but just to sort of tie what Chaitanya said together with everything that has already been said, you talked about authenticity, and Gulin was talking about niche. So I think my real question is, we all know why branding is important, right? We do it every day. The fact that you're active on LinkedIn is you're making and marking that personal brand. So we know it's important. But the fact that you touched upon authenticity, and Gulin, you touched upon that, is making sure that authenticity comes across in every step you take, whether it's a small LinkedIn post, or whether you're talking to someone, or whether you're going for a client meeting, or it's a presentation. Your authenticity, your personal niche has to come through in every small work that you do. And that is one of the things that I learned. So that is one of the things that I do with my personal brand and USP is what I am. So I have that sort of humorous streak, or I have that candid nature that will come across in my posts, that will come across when I talk to you one
Yeah.
on one in a group. So I think that is something that is almost like a one hint or tip that I have learned over the years. You were about to say something.
Yeah, I was just reading what Shalabh wrote, and it's resonating a lot with me. So like he's saying, he got into NLP practitioner course. I got into art this year. I used to do it in school, way back in school, and I've been making art every single day since 13th of March. There's not one day that I've missed, and it has really helped me. It's grounded me and all of that. And for me, there are two things in my personal brand. that I figured out. Two core things. One, it ties back to what Chaitanya was talking about. Coincidentally, we raised our hands at the same time because we have the same personal brand, which is authenticity. And the other thing is creativity. So these are the two things which I always demonstrate, like you were saying, in everything that you do and everything that you don't. Um, so my struggle has been with really, that imposter syndrome. That has been my struggle. मुझे गुरलीन ने बोला कि Juhi, you cannot be charging 500 per hour if you're doing a corporate session per head. You can't be doing 200 rupees ka thing or something like that. Some random number I was thinking of, and she was like, these are the corporate rates. And I was like, dude, I have no clue what's going on in the corporate world because I've not been in the corporate world. I've always freelanced. And I had a brief stint in a small ad and media firm when I started working. And after that, I freelanced after my master's as a writer and as a mental health professional. And then I had 6 months at Jombay, which I was like, I was like, okay, this is how the real world works. That's when I came to know. And personal branding के ऊपर मैं बहुत टाइम से काम कर रही हूँ, बहुत टाइम से सोच रही हूँ. And I don't think it is just because of 2020 that everyone is talking about personal branding, but it has become more important now. I agree with Chaitanya because everybody is a psychologist today. Your watchman is a psychologist, your Durwala has become a psychologist, and your students in the schools and colleges are the biggest psychologists on Instagram. मतलब उनको तो मतलब दुनिया की जहान की नॉलेज है, उनको सब पता है क्या नहीं है. And I'm like, dude, you have not experienced more than half your life. So please don't tell me on how to live my life, There was a page I reached out to and they had such a funny response to what I asked. And I'm like, you're calling yourself a mental health group or collective or initiative or something, and you don't even know the M of that. So please go and do your work. Please go and, finish your school and then we will talk. Or even if you don't want to finish school, like at least get some experience.
Exactly.
So that was one thing that I've been noticing, and there's a lot of nonsense floating around today in the name of mental health. I'm sorry to say that the way I said it, but it's really like, you really wonder where is this information coming from and why is it coming? And the lack of a regulatory body in India is the biggest issue with our mental health scenario. One is the ratio of psychologists to the number of people we have in our country. One is that major issue. And the other major issue is that, everybody like, okay, so now authenticity, right? I never used to feel confident in calling myself a psychologist until the time I spent 2 years working as a mental health professional, even if part-time. मेरा मास्टर्स भी था तो भी मैं अपने आप को साइकोलॉजिस्ट नहीं बोलती थी, मैं मेंटल हेल्थ वर्कर बोलती थी, प्रोफेशनल भी नहीं बोलती थी. Because that's where I don't know what it is, whether it's my, lack of confidence or whether it's my authenticity or what it is. But that is where it happened. And now that I've started doing counseling, now that I've started doing sessions with small startups, I've been doing, a lot of free work just to get my name out there, just to establish myself. So because I'm starting I have started a project called Essence of Living. I'm not even calling it an organization at this point, but उसकी branding और उसकी उसमें मेरे को लगा कि मुझे अपनी branding पहले करनी पड़ेगी, product की branding बाद में हो सकती है. So that way. So these are some of my, initial thoughts on personal branding. And I think that one thing is very important. Like, if one thing that I would want to say about personal branding to everybody here or anywhere watching this would be that personal branding cannot be coming from a space of you trying to project something. It has to come from a space of you knowing something about yourself. Like we were talking about self-awareness and understanding. You can project that you're a hotshot no matter what, but it has to come from a space of really knowing yourself, and that knowing comes after some amount of time and experience that you've spent. It doesn't come from doing workshops. It doesn't come from doing courses on personal branding. It definitely does not come from watching gurus on YouTube who tell you how to do personal branding. So, yeah.
Love the points, Juhi. Chaitanya, just quickly, just tying Juhi's points together. I think Juhi, obviously, that is my one of the biggest, you can say nemesis, that people call themselves mental health professional, people I went to college with, without degrees or years of experience. But I think one place, just to stir things up in the group, one place that you think, if you think about it, their personal branding is great because people listen to them. They're just so hardcore on Instagram. People are listening to them. People are talking to them. They're calling themselves psychologists. Even if it's not authentic. So I think what we could actually learn from them is we have the authenticity, we have the years of experience behind us, we have what it takes. We just need to learn that branding, that sort of go out there and live it like it's the real thing, even if it's a lie for them. We have the authenticity to back it up. So I think just to stir things a little bit up, I think even though I don't agree and I don't, I think their personal branding is on point.
But
And I
the
think
easiest, sorry, the easiest thing to be is to be who you are not.
yeah.
To be yourself is the most difficult thing. And if as a professional, you can figure that out, as a psychologist, you can figure that out, as a coach or a trainer, then I mean, since you've worked, I just read your chat about Jombe. Have you heard of Firoza?
No, not yet.
Firoza Engineer is one of their trainers, and she is amazing because she is so damn authentic. Like, I mean, I'm confident saying this on camera because if she ever sees this, she is going to resonate with it because that's her personal brand. What she thinks, what she does, and what she says are all in alignment.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And
Sorry to
Just
be
to
just
add, just
Chaitanya, sorry, just conscious of time. So let's have a couple of people who haven't spoken up yet to just to give them a chance to speak up because we have
Yeah,
approximately.
Sakshi. Hello, Sakshi Harshi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you that in present world, present times, we cannot say that this generation should not be doing this thing. Rather, we should be learning what they are doing, that they are able to make that brand and they are able to make that follower. Whether it is wrong, if it is wrong, it will fall off in certain times, certainly. But that we a past generation, we have to learn these things from the youngsters. With the Gen Z coming, we have to adopt to their ways rather than we forcing them that you adopt to our ways. That is not going to happen. They just get disconnected from us. And certainly, what has been raised here, authenticity is the most important key factor for branding, because if you're not authentic, after 6 months, your facade will go up. So that is the basic factor. I'm not aware about what the psychologist should be branding, but what I started my LinkedIn journey only for the job hunting purpose when I was transitioning from the army to the corporate career. And I was told that this is the platform where you can get jobs. However, somehow I realized it's a very beautiful platform, not only for personal branding, for self-development every day. With the type of thoughts I am resonating with. And with the type of thoughts I'm not resonating, I don't comment on that post, and slowly and automatically the LinkedIn algorithm removes them from showing me their feeds also, even if they are my connections. So I'm getting enriched every day. The personal branding, the number one point is very correct, is authenticity. What I realized, authenticity pays in the long run. The number two comes, you have to be enthusiastic about yourself and the ideas which you have to do. Because selling ourselves is our responsibility. We just cannot say, I am good, so you must be taking ourselves. As Jeff Bezos say, personal branding is not that what you are saying. It is the people say about you when you are not in the room. That is the personal branding. Not that what I am saying about myself is the personal branding. So we have to create a brand in such a manner that people are talking about it, that this person is like this. That is the definition of the Jeff Bezos, certainly not mine. Third comes I realized in my LinkedIn journey that human connections, what you are dealing with. You have to find the areas in which you are very convenient, fluent in those areas, and then trying to make connections where the general common masses are wanting from that. It's not only that I am having some thought, I want to give it to them, I write a post and give it to them. It's not only that. We have to do some connections in between what the audience is looking for. Preparation is certainly very important. We just cannot be putting on anything on LinkedIn. And then because what you said, if I want to make a humorous streak, so I planned that today has to be humorous. It just can't be out of the blue. I'm writing a humor today. Today I'm writing a shairi. Today I'm writing some spiritual post, the planning is very, very important. So, because what we are creating a digital signature is going to be there forever. And even if a person has not liked, if I get only 20 likes on my post, more than 2,000 people read my post and they create an impression every day and every day what I am posting. So that is extremely important to be aware. So preparation is very important. And I realize creating a novelty, that is creating a curiosity every time is important. It should not be monotonous. If I, as I am looking as a viewer at my post every day, I'm creating same type of content, people will get bored. So it's not that I'm very good, but yes, these are the factors which we have to keep in mind. Certainly, I want to listen to that answer. Ki what psychologist should be, how the psychologist should be selling himself or herself in the corporate world. That I'm not aware, and I'm very keen to look for that answer right now today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harsh. Thank you. And I think really good points raised. And I think one of the things, so obviously looking for the answer, I think one thing that you said yourself, planning and preparation is so, so important. You can't just think that you will put 10 types of content or thoughts out there, because people need to start associating. For example, every time I see a post about something that is informative, I think of Gurleen. Gurleen has created sort of that brand where, it just, if I'm seeing something about cricket and something that's coming out of it, I know it's Chaitanya. He has created that brand for himself. So anytime you think of a concept, you think of the person, you're successful at creating that image. So if I think of somebody coming from the army and changing their life, I'll think of Harsh. That's the brand you have created for yourself. So it's the stories you're putting out, it's the thoughts you're putting out. So you have to prepare and plan. I think that's one of the things that I learned very early when I was starting my career. Meenu, what about you? I'm very curious to hear some thoughts from you about how you branded yourself as a coach.
I don't know if I've really managed to brand myself, honestly speaking. So I think resonate with a lot of the stuff that, Chaitanya, Juhi, you spoke about. Being authentic, knowing yourself and being authentic to that. Being consistent in that, that's really the essence of it. So I think for the longest ever in my professional career, I really didn't know much beyond saying I do good work. I do great work. Actually, I have lots of attention to detail, but that's how the outside world saw me. I really didn't know what I was from inside. What I am from inside now, which I've realized over the last few years, and which I think in every interaction that I have with people, a little ability to be to laugh at yourself, yeah, the ability to see the lighter side of things, the ability to see a different perspective, from and articulate a different perspective to what people are saying in a manner which is acceptable to them. To see goodness in small things, yeah. I've realized some of these things about myself over the last few years. Also, I went through a phase of anxiety and depression, and that made me that actually changed me, quite a bit, because I had to do a lot of introspection. I had to do a lot of figuring out what's really the cause. And one thing I discovered as the cause was that I didn't know myself enough and what I really wanted. So I was constantly being judging myself from how the world is judging you, right, and not from how you want to be. So it's helped me over the last 4 or 5 years to discover what makes me tick, and in every interaction something or the other comes out, because it's natural. It's just you, it's who you are, right? And hopefully it's good stuff. It's accepted and received well. So I think that has helped me to create a little bit of an image with my clients, a little bit of a they listen when I speak, because they feel that I'm being just who I am, and if I call a spade, it's not with any ill will, but it's genuinely because I'm also the kind of person who cares about, my work being impactful, them receiving it well. So, I think those are the things which have, I would say in a nutshell, just knowing yourself. I think you all have said it. It's not very different, but I was just sharing about what I've learned about myself. You take it a little deeper. And I think even in my personal interactions, it comes out, so I have a huge sense of fairness, and when I see unfairness, I articulate it. So I'm also a Muffat, I kind of just let people know that it's not right. that comes out at home, that comes out in how I engage with my clients or with my, I don't hold back if I sense a bit of unfairness, So, that consistency of first figuring out what you are, and then consistency, living naturally, being natural, being who you are. I think that's the root to branding. I'm, like Harsh said, plan and stuff. I'm not a very great planner. Okay. So for me, it's spontaneity. I think I have discovered that I'm spontaneous. So when I'm spontaneous, I give the best. And I may not post regularly. In LinkedIn, actually, I've been absolutely inactive. To be honest, professionally, I've been very inactive, but Facebook, Insta, where I post, it's sometimes it's about learning. Sometimes it's about how nature really attracts me. So what do I learn from nature? What do I learn from art? What do I learn? That kind of stuff. So I've tried to mix all my different interests, my professional interests, my personal hobbies and areas of interest, photography, for example, and just to center it around learning, for example. So reflections, they come up and stuff like that.
I'm with you on this, Meenu. So I like what Harshvardhan said, that planning is very important. Yeah, planning is important, but I feel things, when they're spontaneous, when they're natural, they actually are much better. So I also
they're more authentic. I mean, actually, that's for me. I mean, I don't want to judge anybody else here. I think what works for everybody could be very different. So sorry to interrupt, Chaitanya, but I just feel that, not everybody operates the same way. And it's okay. If it's okay if somebody wants to be planned and, do it in this thing, it may yield far more better results than somebody who's unplanned and spontaneous. But you have to finally be happy with where you're moving and how you're, what you're achieving through whatever you do. If you're not happy, then maybe it's time to change. That's how I look at it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so absolutely, I agree with you. So, like yesterday also, when I was seeing something, immediately something got thought triggered in my mind, and I just wrote it on LinkedIn. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I also don't post that consistently because I believe I don't want to do things for the heck of it. So yeah, something came to me naturally yesterday, and I just posted, and I'm like quite happy about it. So yeah, that's how.
I love that. I think I'm also always like a mix between spontaneity and planning. So I know that if I'm putting out a content, I want it to look like me. I can't just pass on somebody else's work for my work. But then also I'm somebody who just get to LinkedIn, like I don't like how people are thinking about likes and comments. Stop that. This is not Instagram. So a bit of both. So I think absolutely one of the things that I'm getting from the group is people always ask, where do you find your brand? That is the biggest question, especially with somebody who's just beginning or at a very early stage of their career, and they ask, how do we brand ourselves? Where does it come from? And I think from all of the discussion today, people can see it comes from you. So like, think about your interests, your hobbies, your likes, your dislikes. What are your values? What is your niche? That is your brand. It's not going to come from a god in a parcel. That is your brand.
Absolutely.
And also, I want to add on, Sakshi, before I ask Sohil to share his inputs. I think when you think that this is not your natural way of working, for instance, Meenu said she's more of a spontaneous person. So I think partnering with somebody who has complementary strengths always helps. For instance, Sakshi, like I am not a great public speaker. So when Sakshi called me, like this is almost 1 year ago, and she said, okay, she has this idea to, create a community of psychologists where people can network and all of that. I wouldn't have, I may have thought about the idea, but I wouldn't have executed it because I personally thought that this is not the skill that I'm naturally have. So partnering with somebody who complements you can also add on to your personal branding. And also, I remember last time, I think it was almost 1 year ago, we had a similar discussion where I also shared, just like Juhi, I also shared my struggles with, imposter syndrome. And what used to happen with me was I never used to start working because in my mind, I used to think that if I can't make it perfect, I won't even start. So I used to procrastinate a lot. I'll just sit inside a blanket and, question my own self-worth and this and that. But slowly and gradually, especially like working with Sakshi, like every second Saturday we have this conversation. So I have also opened up. So I am also working on my areas of development. I'm not saying that I'll turn around them into strengths, but I'm just managing my other sides, which can help me complement my strengths. And again, I think partnering with complementary people always helps in personal branding.
Yeah. Thank you, Gulleen. Sohail, we are very
Yes.
curious to hear from you as well, actually.
Yeah.
Like Gulleen pointed out.
I was listening carefully because, to be honest, like there are 2 points which I want to mention. Like first is like I'm not a psychologist, so I was listening to how people, how you guys are struggling and how you guys are also overcoming in terms of branding yourself, and as well as your career motivations. And secondly, to be honest, like I've never thought of to quote the word branding into the bracket of the definition which the you all guys portrayed in terms of how people perceive. So when it comes to how people perceive me, I live up to people only, because so far I've done that way only. I don't completely disagree with what you guys are doing, and maybe it's not the right time for me to look focusedly on branding myself. But let me give you an example in terms of like how people have perceived me, because see, when I see people perceive me, so obviously there is some kind of motivation I also put myself into, that how I want people to perceive me. Maybe that's the branding you guys are looking at, right? So probably it, for me it has varied from time to time and from different people whom I have met with, or different companies I have worked with. Some places I want to portray myself as an expert in certain things. So sometimes I want to portray myself an expert in not anything, but I'm just a person who can, you give something, I will be doing that work. I will learn, I will make myself expert. So that way I put my efforts in such a way that I got perceived in that way. And other good example, like maybe we are just going to the end of sessions, I just want to put one example that in one of the companies I was working, so most people perceived me in a particular way, because the way I was coming across was completely different. But one fine day, now my wife, but a girl come into my life, and she perceived me in a very completely different way, because she looked at those qualities in such a way that my branding was completely different to her and completely different else. So no matter how much effort you put in, people will perceive you in a very different way.
So I think we have our conclusion. Brand yourself and find your life partner. That is a conclusion for the day. If you do it well, if you plan and execute, you will find them. You don't need any apps for it. so get on to it. But no, absolutely. I think thank you so much for sharing that, Sohail. And that's why I think I know you're an observer now by some of these sessions. So I definitely wanted to ask you in the end, what did you observe from these bandwagon of psychologists? And I think you put it very well. I will also just point out sort of an experiment that we ran today. So me and Gurleen said we'll try to tell people that this is going to be 1 hour and let's see if they'll do it. You all did it. We had a very active chat room. We spoke succinctly. So congratulate yourself, because you can add that to your personal branding now. And you can also say you learn quickly. And we can also keep these sort of forum going in a very in a manner that we learn while we share. So we learn to be succinct, we learn to collaborate, we learn to communicate better, but we also share our experiences. Good stuff. Any final comments from
Sakshi, I have a quick comment. आज हमारे पास लोग थोड़े कम है. हमारे पास usually 15-16 लोग होते हैं. तो तभी वो it goes to I think 1.5 hour or something like that. So I think that also plays a factor.
Juhi, I am on it. Trust me, next time there are 15 people, I will still close it in less than 1 hour. That is my promise.
Okay, cool.
No problem. Gurleen, I'm curious. Any last comments from you so you can conclude the session for us today?
I think it was a great session. I took away a lot of lessons. I think Sohail, the partner piece, was like brilliant. I loved it. So yeah, I think compliment, collaborate with other people, be authentic, find out your niche, and whatever you do, do well. And in the end, it's about you. It's personal branding. So figure out what are your values, show it to your clients, show it why it is important, and I think rest will follow. And that's it.
Absolutely. And I can almost sense that we all always want to share more and talk more and discuss more, and we can go on for ages. But like I always say, the most powerful thing you can do for someone is leave them with questions, leave them with very impactful questions. So I hope that we go out of this session and we have some questions in our mind about our own personal brand, about what are we doing for it, how are we making it or not making it, how seriously are we taking ourselves or not taking ourselves, and finding that sort of pivot to our career. So good luck. Thank you so much, Gurleen, for making the poster, for hosting it, for putting it all together as always, and thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Sakshi,
you.
thanks a lot. I really enjoyed this first session with you all. I'm hoping to be regular here now. And I would love to hear more about this vulnerability thing that this experiment sometime. If we can pick it up as a topic sometime, because it doesn't come very easy to people. We are so guarded and we believe. And I think in the corporate world, every time I run a session, people just open their eyes when you say vulnerability is a tool you can use so beautifully, and they're shocked. Some people say, how can we be vulnerable? So it's something I think if we can maybe, spend some time on that, it'd be really nice.
Absolutely. Let's do it then. We always take on board your topic inputs.
Yeah.
So we give them and we sort of work around them and see what we can do. So yes, let's do it, Gurleen. Something that is close to my heart and I'm sure people will appreciate. We'll do Meenu. Thank you. And I'm not sure if we have another session for this year because holidays are coming in, people are with their families. I'm coming to India. I'm flying
Yay.
That's great.
9th December.
So people in Delhi we can have a meetup or something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Socially distant meetup. Otherwise, you might catch the COVID I bring from the UK.
Sakshi, you're reaching on the 9th?
10th.
Oh, 11th is, I'm going to turn in 29 on 11th.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. There's a birthday celebration. So yeah, absolutely. Let's see if we have another session. Otherwise, we leave people to enjoy their New Year's and Christmases with their families. And then we start afresh with new topics in 2021. Good.
Yep.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
so much.
you.
Beautiful as
Thank you,
always.
everyone. Have a good
Bye.
weekend.
Stay safe and safe travels, Sakshi.
Thank you.
Happy journey, Sakshi, and Gurleen and Shalabh. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and everyone enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Just one last point, like Sakshi just said, that ending it, leaving people with questions. I was coming to, I read just maybe a day or two before, the best way of get the productivity is working in short bursts. You work for, say, maybe half an hour, 15 minutes, 45 minutes, and then take a break of 15 minutes and then do. So small sessions where your say brain is active and there are questions, then you think about it. So, and then you come out with different answers. It's not, you'll be not following a simple pattern, but since there have been so many different views, when you get to think about it, you'll come up with certain answer which probably you might not have thought of before.
Right.
So that way it can work well.
Yep, exactly our aim.
That's called Pomodoros or something. It's a technique we use.
Yeah, Pomodoro technique. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pomodoro.
Yep. There you go. Our lovely psychologist putting it into perspective already. Thank you. I'll put that glass half full Pomodoro sessions. Please do join us.
Right.
Okay, cool. Have a good weekend then, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.